Maybe you already have a business or you want to start one, but one thing is clear, and that is the fact that you need to get more clients. If that sounds like you, then today's video will definitely help. My name is Libby Rothschild. I'm the founder and CEO of Dietitian Boss. We help registered dietitians start and grow a private practice, a virtual private practice, so that you can live your life of freedom and flexibility while earning the amount of money that you want and working with people who you feel aligned serving. Now, only 8% of dietitians own and operate a business, and here our mission at Dietitian Boss is increasing that statistic by supporting you and giving you the tools and processes that you need to get clients and retain them. Now, if this content sounds along the lines of what you're looking for to help you grow your business, then hit the subscribe button because I release videos every Tuesday to inspire you to not only get started, but also grow your business. And for some of you, you'll end up scaling your online business. The first tactic to getting clients is learning how to sell yourself as a dietitian. Now, this is really tricky for many of us that feel intimidated or we don't quite understand what it's like to position ourselves as an expert and promote ourselves. One of the first steps in this process is getting clear with who you're targeting, who you are serving in your business, and how you can support that person with a product or service that you've developed to give them the transformation that they're willing to pay for. Now, a part of this process, one of the foundational steps that every dietitian, private practice operator needs to do is define their ideal client. Now, I'm going to put up an example on the screen here of an actual client of ours who we've interviewed on the podcast, so you can see step by step in following my method, the Dietitian Boss method tools and frameworks, how you too can get more specific with writing out your ideal client so that you can attract more clients. So if you look here, this ideal client example, she's got a name and she's got a diagnosis. So she's got IBS. And if you look here, 3 months ago, after years of chronic bloating and constipation, she suffered with digestive issues for 10 years and she's tried various elimination diets without relief. So you can see that this client of ours put a lot of effort into this ideal client so that she's really clear with who she's serving and the problem that she's solving. And it's very clear that this person, this ideal client example, has a new diagnosis of a chronic disease. And then further, our client who created this ideal client said that her ideal client, Catherine, is constantly worried about what to eat. So that's the type of content that our client could put into her content strategy to start attracting. And then while she's on the phone with this prospect or engaging in any sales dialogues with this person, our client, meaning you, could potentially understand their problems and pains to then better serve them and sell them into your product or service. So let's just go a little bit more into detail with this example. And again, we have a free guide at Dietitian Boss where you can fill this out on your own. Of course, if you're looking for our support, then grab the free training below for the 3 secrets to starting your private practice, and we'll go through that exercise and give you some resources to make sure that this is clear. So even further, ideal client example, it says that the thought of trying another elimination diet causes more anxiety since she, meaning Catherine, has already removed so much from her diet. She's very busy as a teacher and a wife and a mom, so she has little time to dedicate to another strict diet, right? This is so clear. And she's sad, so that's showing about her emotions because she wants to enjoy food again and spend time with her family, right? That's really important without having to think about how she feels. And her pains, which are really important for you to nail down because you want to understand the deep underlying concerns and problems that your ideal client has so that you can sell them and serve them. So this says that her pains is that she feels like her body hates her and she has eliminated so much food without relief. She's burnt out on eating the same foods every day, and she's always thinking about food and no longer feels connected with her body. Lastly, her dreams are that she wants to live a life without constantly thinking about food or how she feels. And she wants to be able to go out and enjoy a meal with her friends without severe anxiety. Now, this is an excellent ideal client written out. Our client has followed the demographics, pains, and dreams outline that I've explained in many free videos here. And then we've got a free guide to help you list that out as well so that you can start to get clear with your messaging and translate that into your content strategy and make sure you are finding people who have these issues and serving them. You're having conversations with them and you're providing a transformation in your services and products to help result that they intend to achieve to support them. In this case, it's chronic disease management, right? And the anxiety that this ideal client is feeling with her symptoms. The last thing I want to mention with how to sell yourself so that you can start getting more clients after you define your ideal client would be to adopt a mindset that not everybody that could be a potential fit or that you talk to will actually convert into a sale. And when you can employ the mindset to realize that not everybody everybody is a fit is going to make business a lot more smooth for you, because in business, we don't all have 100% conversion rates, and not everybody is going to be a fit for what we offer. And so once you can accept that, and that helps support you to make progress, you're going to be in better shape to accept the fact that you are going to be open to other ideal clients for various reasons. Maybe that person doesn't connect with you. Maybe now's not a good time. Maybe they decided to go with a competitor. And once you can accept that, you're actually going to condition yourself and train your brain to really be open and receptive to people who are the right fit, even if they aren't right in front of you. You just got to keep going. Where can I find nutrition clients? That's a really common question in relation to tactics of how to get clients as a dietitian. Now, keep in mind that once you've defined your ideal client, or even if you're in the process of defining that person, they're everywhere. And it's even easier to find this person once you're more clear with what problems they're struggling with. So that means you can tap into friends and family and ask them if they know anybody who struggles with X, Y, and Z condition, or you can even be more general and say nutrition help until you're more specific with what their exact problems are. What you will need to focus on are your communication skills and your ability to connect with people and tell them that you are open and willing to solve problems for people that have nutritional concerns. Now, the other piece, of course, I'm wildly biased and in love with social media, and our business helps you leverage social media effectively. Just want to mention that our reach to our network and the folks that we know is limited to where we live and who we know. And that's why social media is so accessible, because you have a global platform to be able to expand your reach beyond wherever you live. Whether you live somewhere more rural like Montana or somewhere that's more populated like New York City, you still have a greater reach to connect with folks if you are tapping into social media. And if you are using social media as an opportunity to learn about people, connect with them, identify people's problems, have conversations, and then, of course, showcase your content as you're creating and iterating in your processes to make better content to start attracting more people who do, in fact, have the problem that you are solving in your messaging. If you're wondering, how do I grow my nutrition business on Instagram? Well, you've come to the right place. And although Dietitian Boss helps clients through various social platforms in addition to Instagram, helping dietitians grow their business through using Instagram, that's how I got started several years ago. I'm very fortunate I've been able to grow since and help dietitians leverage podcasting and YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and other modalities and email lists outside of social media and Instagram specifically. And I just want to say our clients have had so much success from leveraging Instagram, that platform specifically. So I want to share a few tricks and tips so that you can walk away with some tactics to start getting more clients in your dietitian business. The first tip is consistency, and that's always the hardest because I know you, I follow you, and I look at you on Instagram, I look at dietitian hashtags, and I look to see what our community is up to, the community of dietitians, and you're not posting regularly, or you're not showing your face, or you're not consistently working at your communication skills, meaning you're not networking and talking to people on social media and having conversations with them and learning about what people are struggling with. So the more that you can use social media as a landscape for you to identify what problems people have and see social media as an opportunity to learn and serve, the more likely that you will be able to learn what people want and need, and then you'll be able to serve them with that through your free content and through conversations as you're learning more about their business needs, which quite often can turn into sales conversations. And then with sales skills, you'll have a better chance of converting those conversations into potential customers, whether you're selling them into your digital products like a course or a service like coaching or consulting. I suggest that you post weekly. Now, if you're a beginner and you haven't been posting consistently, like so many dietitians, at least 3 times a week on the actual feed is suggested, and at least a couple times in your stories. And the reason that I suggest posting that frequently is the more that you post, the more data points you'll get about learning through your insights what trends are resonating with your audience. And even if it takes a bit of time to learn that, you'll still have data points if you're posting regularly versus if you're posting randomly. So the more consistent you can be to learn about your metric, I've got another video that I'll link at the end about how to read your insights, then you'll have a better chance of iterating on your process if you're consistent. So you're consistently using the platform, you're consistently posting and showing up. And the third tip would be for you to use the features. Now, there are so many features on Instagram, including reels and carousels. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not even consistent with posting and using the platform to engage in conversations with people in a business way, then I would suggest that you hold off on the features, especially if they overwhelm you, and set smaller goals. So the first priority would be posting regularly. Again, 3 times a week on the feed, a couple times a week in your stories, preferably showing your face at least 1 to 2 times on your feed a week. And the more consistent you are with posting, then once you hit that goal for, let's say, 30, 60, 90 days, preferably 90 days, which would be a full quarter of the year, right? 3 months, then you can start adding in more robust features such as reels and carousels. So if you work up to your goals, that can help you focus on one thing at a time, because consistency, since that's the biggest struggle, if you take your goals and you break them up, then you're more likely to stick with the goals in the first place and build on your skills. Now, if you're going to sit there and push back and say, no, I'm ready for reels, fine. Okay, wonderful. If you are ready for reels and carousels and you want to start tapping into the more advanced features on Instagram, that's great. As long as you're still keeping consistent, you're posting 3 times a week, whether it's a reel, carousel, or a still post. And then you're also engaging with stories at least twice a week for at least 90 days. Document your life. So when I first got started on Instagram and I first built my business from my clinical office, I simply documented my life. I told dietitians what I was up to, how I was making money as a non-traditional dietitian in clinical. And I just talked about teaching and speaking and consulting. And I also talked a little bit about hot topics in nutrition with an unbiased perspective. So I didn't take one side or the other. I'm still fairly neutral when it comes to a lot of strong opinions, whether it's fasting or ketogenic. And we at this company are very inclusive to people who have different philosophies and ideas and thought processes, and we're accepting of different ideas. So you can still talk about hot topics, and you don't always have to have an opinion, but you can be somebody who relays information, right? And you can reference research, etc. And that's what I did. I talked about educating in the work I was doing as an educator and a consultant. As a clinical dietitian, I documented my life as I was teaching and speaking, and that was a great way for me to position myself as an expert and stand out and share what I was up to. And I recommend that for you as well. If you're documenting your personal life, or if you're documenting some element of your professional life, put yourself out there and start regularly talking about what you're up to. Now, if you're wondering, well, where does the niche conversation come in? And when do I start positioning myself as an expert in the space of prenatal or feeding for infants or anything like that? And the answer is, it can depend. If you don't know your messaging and you're not really sure if you want to serve folks with chronic disease or sports performance or anything of that nature, if you're just not sure yet, that's okay, but getting started and being consistent is going to help you get in the right direction to learning. So the sooner you can codify your message, the better. That being said, what can help you get more clear with your messaging would be the consistent action taking that you're going, those motions that you're going through as far as being consistent are going to help put you in the direction of getting more clear. So yes, positioning yourself as an authority figure and speaking in terms of being clear of who you're serving and how you're serving them. Let's just take chronic disease and IBS as an example, because that was the ideal client example I shared earlier. That is the goal, and that's ultimately where you want to be. But don't forget that all of the dietitian bosses that you see on social media, Instagram, for example, that are successful, they've got a following and they've got an engaged audience and they're selling their services and they're sharing their stories on our podcast. They once started just like you, posting consistently, trying to figure out what they wanted to do. And so I just want to remind you, if you're not clear yet what your message is, then your first goal is to work up and take those actions to getting more clear. And that starts with writing out your ideal client and engaging on social media and finding people within those areas and having conversations with them. Now, if you found this video helpful and you want to learn more tips, if you're ready to learn about reels and carousels and advanced features, and I want you to check out this next video. And if you're feeling like, well, I'm already working clinical and I'm not sure if I'll be able to work clinical and build my private practice at the same time. That's a really common thing that I hear our clients and many dietitians say. So I have another video created just for you answering that specific question. And we will see you next time.